I want to tell you, first of all, though, that the first year that I had a film at Sundance as a producer was The Overnight in 2015, and I was nervous to go to the festival for the first time as a producer. And so I remember going online and looking for, I heard about this producer's lunch that was going to happen. I went online to go find out what it was all about, and I found transcript. You were the keynote. And it was such a lovely thing to read, kind of embracing and celebrating risk-taking as producers. I was introduced to you indirectly by way of your words, and I thought, if this is what the festival is about, this is what Sundance, this is what independent filmmaking is about, I'm on board. It was really encouraging, and I felt validated in that. So
thank you so much. I'm so touched by that. Thank you. So it's really nice to meet you. I've really admired your work for such a long time, and I loved Overnight, and it was such a risky, totally exciting movie to see. And I so wish I'd seen it with an audience, because I think the audience reactions must have been so over the top when you first screened it. And you've had 2 subsequent movies, so you've been pretty prolific. You've had quite a few movies at Sundance since
this. I've produced 3 films, and they'll all have gone to Sundance. This is the 3rd year in a row. So I don't know what to do after this.
That's amazing.
I don't know how to not do this, but I feel very, very lucky, and I feel like each experience is different. Last year we brought other people, which opened the festival. As a producer, you kind of carry the anxieties of everyone, I think, on your shoulder. At least I do. Especially with first-time filmmakers. I've worked with 3 now on these 3 films. So
that's amazing. So they were all first-timers.
They're all first-timers. Yeah.
Right. Can you? And the one that you have now at Sundance is a female director too.
Female director. Alethea Jones directed Fun Mom Dinner, which was written by a good friend of mine, Julie Rudd. Her first feature.
Wow. Julia came to you with this idea, and you told her to go write the screenplay.
Yes, I was like,
and developed it.
Yeah, she had been in the industry for a bit, then became stay-at-home mom, and found that her calling was writing. She'd written in college, and that's what her hopes had been. She was at a stage in her life where she felt that calling, and it was coupled with having a story to tell, which is the idea of being a mother and feeling like you didn't need any more friends. You'd found your group, but now your children start to pull other women into your life. And it's that feeling of, do I engage or not? It was really a lot of collaboration back and forth, and she would drop her kids off and write a little bit and then come back home and with the kids, and then that's when I would be reading pages and back and forth. It was really collaborative, and to find a director that could also get that and figure out how to make this story very specific, authentic. Alethea is not a mother, but she pulled from so many experiences that were related. The idea of female friendships and what those mean to you at different stages in your life. So
how do you trust your instincts about a first-time director? I mean, how do you feel that this person can command a set, can attract cast?
I mean, it's hard to, unless you know people in their lives and you can get real feedback from people who've worked on different kinds of sets with them or different kinds of work experiences. I think part of it is a risk. Part of it is that first impression, and also figure out how they work well, and to also help them find the support team that'll work best to their strengths and can support them where they don't, there is a deficiency or where they don't have experience. I think that's the fun part for me, is finding out all those support systems. I'm curious about your first experience as a producer.
Well, my first experience as a producer was actually it was in '97 I
remember '97 very well.
It was a film that I worked on with a first-time narrative filmmaker, and it was someone who I went to college with, and we went to Sundance, and we had, Sundance, I think it becomes like this microcosm when you're up there in terms of which films that are being targeted and talked about. And our film just really didn't have any great attention paid to it. And the film ended up winning the grand jury prize, which was really exciting.
How do you support first-time filmmakers for pre-production? What are you doing to kind of prepare them?
The scariest thing for me in terms of a filmmaker, working with a filmmaker, is the filmmaker who is not aware of how much they don't know. And I always prefer the filmmaker who asks tons of questions, who does tons of research, who readily admits the areas that they need education in, instead of people, and I think women do that much more than men. But I think what I was really always taken with Michelle is she had a great confidence in her approach, but yet she was very willing to learn and to be open to be taught by people with much more experience. And I think Michelle kind of embodies she's a writer-director as well, but someone who really kind of seizes the reins in terms of the career she wants. And I really respect her trajectory. She was an actress, and then she decided she wanted to write, and so she was writing screenplays. She wasn't happy with the two movies that were made of her work, and she decided she really wanted to start directing on her own. Independent filmmaking is so incredibly hard, and there's so many more easier ways to make a livelihood, if you can even make a livelihood in what we do. And I think sometimes that you just have to have such passion about, not necessarily, the process as well, but also about the filmmaker that you're trying to, enable their vision. And with all great directors, she has a definite opinion, and she has where she's incredibly collaborative. Ultimately, it's her decision artistically, and that's the type of director to me that's most exciting, and will probably have the best future in front of them. Is someone who truly knows where their creative instincts lie.
Yeah.